to the Elan. This happens all the time with projects. They stall. Life gets in the way. You blink and 3 months go by. Step one is find that little piece of motivation, that small, easily attainable task to check off the list to get that project going again. That motivation that I need to get going is where it stalled out. And then the E30 got in the way because the bends didn't get any progress. And then the bends became a headache. La 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 la. Here we are. Today, we're gonna get the car up on jack stands. We're gonna get the rear wheels off. And I want the car fully up on jack stands because I need the rear wheels off so I can clearance. But I also need to get the radiator drained and out of the way because one of the key pieces I need to get going is the tooth crank pulley. That pulley has all 36 teeth, so I need to figure out which tooth I'm gonna need to file off. But that's basically like step 3 in the installation process. Step 1 is get it in the air, get the radiator out, drain the coolant, get the old crank pulley out, and then I can deal with the installation of the new one. So anyways, too much talking, time to get to work. Fine. Well, night 1 done. As you can see, I managed to get the rear up. This is going to be an interesting project. I am happy I got the rear off. I did read that most people have the low pro jack, which I don't have, which sounds like I gotta go buy some more tools. But then I can get the front up. The real reason I wanted to get the car in the air was for the front. Probably should have started there, but I was already like kind of committed to the rear. So I got the rear up, got the wheels off. So I'm halfway there, and I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna celebrate, and I'll be back tomorrow because this is just the beginning. Motivation happens when you start making progress. And you know what? It's up on jack stands in the rear, so we'll get it up in the front. And let's come back to that now. So now that I have the car up in the air, the first thing I need to do, and the main reason why I wanted the car in the air, was I gotta get the radiator out. I gotta get the radiator out because I need to get the crankshaft pulley off so I can get the new crankshaft pulley on. Radiator out means I need to drain the radiator and coolant. Now, problem number 1, normally you have a drain on the radiator which can get most of the system flushed out, and then there's a drain on the engine block. I'm gonna insert some pictures, but the drain that's on the radiator outlet, the lower one where you would drain it from, is right above the cross member, meaning as soon as it starts dumping coolant, it's gonna get everywhere. And also that cross member is where my jack stands are. So 2 problems there. So my idea was to start on the other side from the block, but insert picture number 2, a place that it appears they want you to drain it from the block directly shoots out onto the headers. So let's see what I'll do now. Best angle I can do. So here's what I did. Coolant overflowed basically the upper radiator pipe. I got this system out. I've loosened up the radiator, and now we're going to try and shimmy, let's call it, the radiator out far enough that I can dump it on my container that's underneath. This is gonna make a mess. I already know it. That's why you guys are here. You're here for the destruction, not for the construction. So, got the hose somewhat loose. By the way, I'll show you guys in a second, but this coolant is nasty. I kind of want to just get it out, but all right. This is why I do it at night, because my wife is inside. Hearing something. Something's leaking. Okay. Yeah. It's kind of getting on there. Okay, so the guy who built the car put a crazy spring on the front for the hood. Definitely overkill. And normally you can pull these hoods off fairly easily, but I won't be able to until after the fact, but by then damage is done. Okay, something's happening with the engine leaking. On the ground. All right. Fuck it. Come and pull that hose off. I gotta move you guys. Cooperate a little. Okay, thank you. It's gonna be bad. This off. Everything's gonna start dumping out. All right, here goes nothing. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, please subscribe, like, comment, watch the whole video, because I'm making no money and I could use like just another light, you know? All right, here we go. Seems like a good place to stop while I clean it up. All right, that brings this night's progress to a close. My goal was get the coolant, or the radiator out, and the coolant out. And as you can see by this picture, I have an engine bay with some room in front to start focusing on that crank pulley. Now that's easy to say. It's gonna be easy to do. Find out in just a second. Okay, so radiator's out. Most of the spill has been contained. I don't care too much because right now my goal is to get crankshaft pulley out. But before I get the crankshaft pulley out, I gotta get the big bolt out, which 16 mil, not a big bolt really. Now, problem is, put this on the bolt and it just turns the engine. So you need to stop the engine from turning, and got some steel in place. I'm going to try and lock the water pump from turning. Let's see how this goes. They say the engine's been worked on, shouldn't be too bad. But they say if it's been untouched for a long time, it's a nightmare. But this was supposedly rebuilt in 2020, so we'll see. Ooh, not too bad. Is this actually gonna work? Feels like it's working. Something's happening. Oh, that got easy. Be nice if I got a little bit more than a quarter turn. Let's see. Do it without. I have broken it loose. So let's speed up till it comes out. I'll be damned. That worked. Okay, let's get the belt off. Let's get that pulley out. All right. Belt is off. I had to actually remove the alternator to get the belt off, put the alternator back on, so I don't have to worry about finding parts later. But now, 3-tooth puller socket, crank pulley. Let's finish this deconstruction phase so we can start the fun stuff. I read it should be just a slide fit. Okay. Can't wait to get this hood out of the way. Okay, repositioned. Let's see how this goes. Right in the middle of that. Okay. Slowly but surely. You can see it's pulling it off. Now I'm gonna have to back it off. Okay. Put very little force on it. Okay. I needed to put the crank bolt back in. But now, we are out. Haha. And that is what we will be replacing that with. On the next episode.